All right. In three, two, one. Hello, and welcome to episode 200 of the WrassleCast. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined by my SmackDown Matters correspondent, Miss Didi Jonay.
Hey,
What's going on, friend?
I'm good, friend. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Ready for what used to be a long weekend for me, but now it's going to be a short weekend due to a jacked up work schedule.
Aw, do you get
Yeah.
overtime?
No, it's just a part of my regular work now.
Oh, boo. I'm sorry,
Exactly.
Jay.
Boo. So, gonna try to make the most of these 2 days off in a week in the middle of the week and live it up.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. We're also joined by our Rawcast reporter, Mr. Samuel Kalunga. What's going on, Sam?
Impact Cast. Impact Cast. It's all about impact.
Yeah, you're.
Actually, I do have a quick thing to say.
Uh huh.
After watching those promos on YouTube and everything, and watching the videos um, for Cody versus Magnus, I am hashtag all in.
Yeah, that should be a very interesting outcome because if Cody Rhodes wins the NWA title, he'll be the first ever second generation wrestler to win that particular prestigious title. So there's a lot of intrigue that could happen there.
Yeah.
And of course, we're joined by the Rawcast broadcast journalist, Mr. Magnum Prime. What's going on, Greg?
Back again for the first time.
All right. Just letting you know, the WrassleCast can be found on the web at www.cspn.us. So I've got the news this week, and the news is Neville has finally been released from his WWE contract. So he's free to go wherever he pleases. He's free to sign wherever he pleases. He can be on TV as soon as he gets there. He doesn't have any of the 90-day restrictions that most people get when they get released from their contract. So, they've been playing a awful game with him. He's been unhappy. So they just told him to go home. They kept paying him to keep him underneath their thumb, but now he's finally, I guess paid his penance. So now he's free to go. And hopefully he ends up in, New Japan, ROH, somewhere like that, where he can be on TV and really get a chance to showcase what he can do to his fullest extent. So, Greg, let me get your thoughts as the broadcast journalist on Neville and, what you think that, he can be out here in the world outside of WWE.
I definitely think it'll work. I'm sorry that things didn't work out better for him with the WWE. I definitely think that there was a lot of avenues they could have explored, was really making him a big time superstar. But he'll definitely find new life out there. Um, he, he was kind of put away with some unwanted toys for a while, so he'll reintroduce himself and he'll be as popular as he once was outside of WWE.
I wonder if he'll keep that heel persona up though, because that really seemed like he turned a corner once he turned heel, and he got a chance to be the cruiserweight champion, and that was a really good run. And really, his objection was he didn't want to keep losing the Enzo. So that's really where the fallout came, and so I don't blame him for that, but so hopefully, out here when he does decide wherever he decides to re-up or sign to, it'll be a good place for him and work out for him creatively. So that's our news for this week, and we're going to turn it over to Samuel Kalunga for his Rawcast report.
All right, so we're not doing the whole the rundown anymore. We're just going to pick 5 things that happen on the show, and we're going to talk about them. So, you guys ready for this?
The floor is yours, sir.
All right. So the first thing we got here is that Trish Stratus returned to do a segment with some guy, and then I found out. I don't know. You probably guys probably knew before, but I found out that she's gonna have a match with Alexa Bliss at the Evolution pay per view. So
Oh yeah,
interesting to see how that goes.
it's gonna be big fun to see two of my favorites wrestle each other. And Elias did a great job. He basically referenced what Didi wants to do every week. He told Trish, just like 1,000 other women, she just wants to walk with Elias.
So anyway, the Bella Twins announced that will be back in action next week. So
That'll put
I
butts in seats.
guess. All right, that'll move the needle.
Won't you be mad if it does?
But you know what? It'll be more entertaining, whatever they do, than starting off with a Baron Corbin match for the 4th week in a row.
Oh
back
God,
to
Baron
back.
Corbin versus Finn Balor again. I thought like the pay-per-view matches were supposed to end feuds, not like continue them for like the next 8 months.
Well, I mean, we all saw Finn get that it was quote unquote a playhouse, but really it was a doghouse. So he ain't getting out no time soon.
I guess. So Braun Strowman will be cashing in his Money in the Bank at Hell in a Cell against Mr. Roman Reigns. Now, will it actually be a cell match or just a match? Did they
Hopefully, it's in the
mention that?
cell.
He's going to be in the cell because he
They
said
don't
that
have enough cell matches for. Don't they usually have two, one for each brand?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
usually plenty that aren't in the cell, but hopefully.
Well, he said that he's going to be in Hell in a Cell because in that way the Shield can't interfere. That was his
They
whole
can still
plan.
interfere. And,
Right.
Like,
Right.
are you new to wrestling? Like,
Well,
I don't,
that was his.
I don't even remember things, and I know that you can easily interfere.
Kane, the very first Hell in the Cell, ripped the door off.
Still the
Like,
very best Hell in a Cell, in my opinion.
Make it more difficult to interfere, sure.
I gotta disagree. Ground Zero to me was better. Michaels and the Undertaker. To me, that was a better one. Yes.
We may have to.
I'll
We may
never-
have to put
I'll
that
never forget.
back to back
I will never-
watching on a
I will never forget how when Sean was like running from Taker and he was running to the stage. You know how they had the house on the stage?
Mhm.
He was actually banging on the door trying to kick whoever was on the other side to let him in.
If maybe the Saturday night before the Hell in a Cell event, we may have to live tweet those two back to back and take a poll.
I actually prefer the cell match.
You hear me, G?
I hear you.
For that? You down for that?
Hey,
Okay.
let's get it.
All right. Yeah, we'll have
If
this.
you're not down with that, if you're not down with that, Don has 2 words for you. Okay, so that'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what else is happening. What is WWE trying to do with Bobby Lashley? Like, he's like in no man's land right now. Now they have him going up against the Ascension.
Because he's boring.
He's
Was he
just
not
there.
boring in Impact, or was he boring in Impact? Because when I saw him in
Well,
Impact, I was still
Impact-
very bored by him.
In Impact, he had the Beatdown Clan with him, so
He had
didn't really.
people.
He didn't
MVP
really
was a lot of
He
talk.
needs people. Yeah.
Yeah, MVP
Okay.
did all the talking for the group,
Okay.
so
That makes sense then.
he was hardly ever on the mic.
Mm.
And
They
then he
should
was
go
an
back to
actual
that.
badass because he was doing the whole Bellator thing.
So
Yeah.
he needs a Paul Heyman, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
They could always put him with Titus Worldwide.
So he can drop to the B team. Great.
I mean, they need a legit, top level guy, but I don't know how much longer that's going to be around, though. Looks like they finally about to dissolve Titus Worldwide.
Yeah.
They
So,
need
let
to
me
go.
see.
Once you start making like porn jokes about him, and it's just like, it's awkward now. Now I can't unsee it.
So let me see. Kevin Owens quits. What do y'all make of this?
I'll see him on Monday.
It's like that dude that like that's at your job. Is just like rants and raves and just starts like throwing papers and stuff, and then he leaves. He's like, "I quit. I'm not coming back." And you're just like, "I'll see you Monday, Jimmy."
Child support get paid somehow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be something that'll definitely, be a catch to watch next week to see if he shows up or not.
So like the internet is buzzing from this. They're like, "What if this is like some weird loophole for him to show up at All In?" Like, that's not happening.
Well, I don't know, man. Vince would be petty enough to try to sabotage it somehow,
Right?
if he could.
He goes by Kevin Steen instead.
Oh yeah,
He wears his kill steam kill shirt.
now that would blow the roof off that place. He wouldn't even have to wrestle. He just if what if he showed up in the bear suit? What if he was Bernard the business bear? That's all he would have to do. He wouldn't even have to. He wouldn't even have to take a bump, throw a punch, or anything.
Right. So let's see. Let's keep an eye on this. See what happens here. Let's see. So the B team and the revival. What's going on there?
The revival look like they might be about to win the tag team championship soon.
Do you think this experiment is over? I actually like the B team. Like through all this, like they actually surprised me.
Sam likes something. Mark it down in your calendars, people.
You know what? What I don't like right now. I'm
Mm.
kidding.
Mm.
I'm kidding, DP. I love
You mean it, and it's okay. It's fine.
No, I told you. I said all they got to do is let the B team start. Let Axel and Dallas start winning and actually being threats, and they'll catch on. And yeah, it's simple because they got enough of the entertainment to go with it, and they're pretty good wrestlers. Both Dallas and Curtis Axel are really good wrestlers, but they got just enough entertainment that it works.
Right. And the final thing, Shawn Michaels is coming back next week on Raw. He might just do like the Kevin Owens show or something. People are actually acting like he's gonna do something.
Oh, he's just gonna stand in the middle of the ring, talk about how Triple H is his best friend and hell of an athlete. And
oh God, I forgot about this stupid match.
Undertaker has been one of his toughest opponent ever, and they've had epic matches.
He tells Triple H not to mess with the Undertaker. He's like, I don't know, Hunter.
Right.
You shouldn't mess with this guy. He's a dead man.
Gonna basically
I wrestled him twice at WrestleMania.
Right. It's gonna be the same thing he did when he came out there and tried to talk to Roman Reigns about calling out the Undertaker. Like, I don't think you want to do that, son.
Right. So they're gonna have their final match for like the 8th time. Their last one, I looked it up. Their last one was in 2012.
Hey man, when
that was 6 years ago.
When the country,
you're right. Nobody remembers that, right?
When the country man pays for it and says, "Hey, this is what we want," you just deliver what
the Australian kangaroo baron.
Yeah, they're supposed to be going back to Saudi Arabia in November, I heard, or at least reported.
All right, taking the ladies with
them? That's the reason why Evolution is probably in October.
The only ladies that are going to be there are the Instagram models.
Hiyo.
Oh wait, that's Dubai. Never mind. Sorry.
I'm sure they go where the money is, and that's okay.
So that is your Monday Night Raw breakdown. It's 3 hours of a show that's way too long. And
did you mention Brawny?
Yeah, Brawny the Strowman.
Didn't mention you didn't mention
the Shield reunion. That was cool. Well, not reunion, but like when that's next week, right? The triple.
No, that's gonna be in the Super Show in October.
The Australia show.
Something tells me it'll also be on Monday.
Yeah, but
right.
What happened was
there's a variation. It'll be a tag. It'll be a tag match. It'll be like Dean Ambrose and his name against whoever.
I'm sure it'll end up.
And then they'll be at ringside, and then they'll all get a big. Yeah. Did you know Leedy's been watching long enough?
They got 3 hours. What else are they gonna do?
Vince doubled down on the unnecessary babyface heel turn. So not only does Becky Lynch need to be a heel, but Braun Strowman needs to be one too.
That was a heel tactic.
I just think it's because he hates Roman. That's what
I think because I am a heel in spirit. I don't know when things are like heelish. I feel like it's correct to turn on the person who jumped you the week before. Like, that's what you should do.
Yeah, it was very refreshing for once to see that Braun didn't necessarily wrestle the dudes that he didn't really have no beef with.
Yeah. And plus also, what's in it for Braun to be nice to Roman? Like, they're going to win this match to what end? Are they going to be like attacked? No, of course not. So like, why wouldn't I just fuck you over like you did me last week? Like, that's common sense. That's not being a heel.
Yeah,
just being
he
smart.
got his comeuppance.
Yeah, we just even now.
Comeuppance. I like that word. It's a good word.
So that's your Monday Night Raw.
All right, so we'll turn it over to Miss Didi Jonay for her SmackDown Matters report.
Well, they was in Toronto, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I heard that what you're supposed to do is call it Toronto, but I'm American, so I say it the way I say it. The New Day come out. They're excited because now they are the whoop, interrupted by King Booker. Did you pop? I popped.
Mm-hmm.
Because I live a kayfabe life. I didn't know he was coming out. So he comes out. They all bow before him. He has a royal decree to deliver. He anoints Lord Xavier the Smart or something, and Sir Kofi's the Brave or something, and Big E is Big E. And Big E is like, excuse me, why don't I get a good name? And Booker's like, you already got Big E in your name. That's good enough. And then Big E, in the shadiest of all shades, says King Booker just went full Saxton.
Byron Saxton.
Mm-mm-mm. Shade palm trees. Palm trees. But anyway, then Booker welcomes them to the five-time Champions Club. And New Day requests a royal spinneroonie. And King Booker delivers. And then Wiz and Kofi do one. It's pretty good. Not as good as Booker. And then Big E tries, fails. He's on his back like a little turtle on a shell. And then Kofi and Xavier like turn his legs and spin him around.
That
Did,
was
did you really think he was going to be able to pull that off?
I kind of thought he could. I still kind of think he can, but it's more fun this way.
that was 12 minutes of hashtag SmackDown Matters so black.
It was real ethnic.
Did you hear the Pollock and Way show? They were talking about like what's going on here, what's happening. I don't understand. I'm like, of course.
Oh, a white person said that?
Oh, white guy and Asian guy,
Shocker.
but they're usually clueless about stuff because like I remember when
Oh, the
R-Truth was
Asian
like
guy
doing
didn't
his thing.
understand? I
I
guess
remember
he
when
wasn't
R-Truth was doing
Filipino.
something. You know how
Hmm.
R-Truth just like goes on about like weird shit
Hmm.
that like, and then like they were both like, huh, what is this?
I thought the whole point of it was to not make sense. Listen.
No, I mean like when he was just saying like things that like we would understand, all of us here.
Oh. Oh, yeah. But, oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at things. Next was a triple tag team match. The Bar versus the Good Brothers versus the I thought they got fired years ago, Colognes. Um, as it
No,
stands,
they were they weren't the colognes. They were like all these other variations except the colognes.
it doesn't
So
matter
this
because
is a brand
none of
new
them
tag team. I've
none
never
of
seen these guys
them
before.
include the person I'm looking for. And until he comes with them, it doesn't matter.
Primo
So
and Epico are like JTG. They just lay low and keep getting the checks and hope when they get ready to make the cuts, they just skip over their names.
I mean, they are, stay low and build. They might have good money just from happening to be around.
No, see, what it is Vince doesn't want to piss off Puerto Rico because those are like their
Let's
father
be
or their uncle or whatever. He, I don't know. There's just some weird connection that they
I
have.
can't imagine Vince gives two fucks about anybody in Puerto Rico. Just knowing who he's friends with. Your president. Anyway, tag tournament match. One of the Colognes tags in and needs a super kick, but Sheamus makes the save. But then Sheamus runs into a spine buster. The Colognes break up the Magic Killer, and then they take control until Cesaro tags in. It breaks down, and then Cesaro pins Gallows. So next week there will be another tag tournament match, which will be the Usos. Haven't seen them in a while. Versus Sanity versus Rusev in English. There's a video package for Becky and Charlotte. Jeff Hardy arrives. He says Randy is obsessed with him because Randy seems to be obsessed with men. I'm just saying. Um, he says Orton got into his head and even made him believe he could fly. And then they show footage of last week, I guess, where he did something he shouldn't have done. He says Orton may think Jeff is a stepping stone, but Jeff feels alive, reborn and rebroken by fate. He tells Randy to come out so they can finish what he started. He does come out, congratulates Jeff for being back on the pedestal, but the truth is that Orton isn't done yet because he will take Jeff's identity when he ends his career. I guess I should note that on Jeff's face is the makeup and it says RKO, but it also has like,
Another face on the other side.
yeah, it's got some shit going
Is he
on.
doing the weird eye thing again?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
he's been doing that for
it's very
about a month
creepy.
now.
No,
Very
no,
creepy.
I've seen it. I'm just like, did he do it this week too?
Yep. Yep.
He's
He
gonna run into a
promises.
barricade one day, and I'm gonna be there. I want to see it.
Of course you do. Yes, Jeff promises to take Orton to hell in Hell in a Cell at the Hell in a Cell pay per view, and then Randy leaves. Mela is interviewed, and she says she's the hottest thing in WWE, but Trish was just there yesterday, so no. She takes credit for the WWE Evolution pay per view. Interesting theory. She says she beat Charlotte twice and will do it again tonight and win her title back. R-Truth is still stalking her, and Ty Dillinger is still trying to talk him out of it.
I love the line where she goes, Charlotte and Becky, they're chump change because Mella is money. Like I like that.
Ty Dillinger with his monthly appearance.
Yeah, Naomi versus Billy Kay because of, the other one.
Distraction?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, there was a distraction finish. Naomi lost. Anyway, Bree versus no. Bree and Brian come out and talk. Nobody cares. Um,
Bree's
the
annoyingness is
thing.
starting to rub off on Daniel, and I'm really annoyed by him now.
Yeah, so they're talking about whatever, and then Zelina and Cien almost come out. Zelina says it's an honor for them to be standing next to them and us. You get it. She introduces
No,
herself
no.
to Brian.
What she really
What?
said was she shaded Daniel Bryan. She said it's an honor for her to be standing next to two legends, Brie Bella and Cien Almas.
Oh, that's fucked up. I like her. She introduces herself to Daniel Bryan and says Cien has put Sin Cara on the shelf. He took AJ to the limit and he destroyed Rusev. She goes on to say that Miz has outsmarted Daniel Bryan and Cien will now out wrestle Daniel Bryan. Bryan says he'd love to make the match official, but he's not the GM anymore. If only there was somebody to make the match. And then he's like, ha ha ha, I said, if only there was somebody to make the match. Okay, but then Paige comes running out. She's like, excuse me, office is far. You see these heels. Give me a second. She catches her breath and then she's like, yeah, sure. So she makes the match. Daniel gives Almas the butterfly superplex. Miz arrives. Daniel Bryan wipes Miz out with a suicide dive, but seeing Almas takes out Daniel Bryan with a tornado. Back in the ring, Almas hits the inverted tornado DDT for two. He goes back up top, and the moonsault eats knees. The yes lock is applied, and Bree takes out Zelina Vega, but out of nowhere, Maurice posts Bree. That allows Miz to attack for the DQ. CN lays out Daniel Bryan with the hammerlock DDT. Post match, Miz applies the yes lock to Daniel Bryan, and Maurice lays out Bree with a DDT. And then Miz hits the skull crushing finale on Daniel Bryan. Boom. Yes. I love it.
Great
I
heel
love
work
it.
all around.
Heel tactics.
The match was pretty good until the until it was just interrupted. I wanted to see that match continue.
Oh yeah, they could definitely go back to it for a longer period and have a couple of good matches out of it. This is a good setup to get Miz, and Maurice some get back.
And is this the first time Daniel's done the suicide dive since coming back?
I think it is. I haven't
He,
seen him do it since
he needs to limit those.
Well, that's the first one, so he's been doing pretty good.
Anyway,
Okay, I'm just
Charlotte
saying,
says
don't make it a weekly
Becky
thing.
doesn't deserve anything and that Becky cannot win the big one. And she won't apologize for her success and for busting her ass to get where she is. And if Becky wants the spotlight, she'll go ahead and give it to her. Out comes AJ. He says the rematch is official for Hell in a Cell. He says that Samoa Joe is great with the mind games, but he's not good enough to take the title from AJ. He says he'll put an end to the mind games and doesn't want to wait for Hell in a Cell. He calls out Samoa Joe right now. Joe's in the parking garage and appears on the screen. He says AJ's acting like a superhero, but who's looking after his kids? Then Samoa Joe calls up Wendy, the wife, and says, how is our Annie? Right? So then he says he promises to send AJ home and tells her to save him a plate for next Tuesday's back to school barbecue.
No, he
Yeah.
said he'll actually be there. That's what he said.
Okay, well that ain't what my notes say. Anyway, AJ runs backstage to go whip some ass. Questions, comments, concerns?
The
At
biggest
this.
takeaway here, biggest
Mhm.
takeaway here is that Samoa Joe has a pop socket on his phone.
At first, I thought that was AJ's phone because why would Samoa Joe have Annie Styles in his phone?
I mean, they used to be friends.
I
Yeah,
guess.
like they
It
came up
probably
together.
is
Remember?
AJ's phone though. Like he took the phone and called.
Either
Right.
that
Cause
or he was just
why? Cause why
pretending.
would
Maybe he
Wendy
didn't
answer
call
the phone
anybody.
if
He didn't think
Samoa
about
Joe
that.
called?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. He probably did take his phone. Cause I can't imagine Wendy's like randomly fielding calls from Samoa Joe on a Tuesday evening.
Or
Yeah.
he
So
just
I
pretended.
think that was
Or he just
AJ.
pretended to call her
Hmm.
just to piss off AJ.
Hmm. Anyway, your final match of the night is Charlotte versus Carmella in a rematch for the SmackDown Women's title. Carmella hits the Rana off the ropes for two, then she lands clubbing strikes and she slaps Charlotte. Charlotte fights off Carmella but eats a pair of super kicks and Carmella covers for two. Carmella keeps covering, but Charlotte keeps kicking out. Then Charlotte fires up and hits the spear and a natural selection. The figure eight finishes it. Post break, Becky kicks Charlotte ass to a hero's welcome. She tells Charlotte at Hell in a Cell she will get her title back, you bitch. And then she poses with the title standing over Charlotte, or in the corner Charlotte is. But it looked like she was kind of like, yeah, bitch, what? And that's how it ended on Tuesday.
Yeah. I think everybody in the whole arena was waiting for. I mean, they started out the match like, "We want Becky. We want Becky." Then in the middle of the match, they were just chanting Becky, and then it was kind of like the match goes through, and it's like, "Oh, she ain't even gonna come out." And then all of a sudden, she hit the ring, and it was like, "Oh hell
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that
there was
place,
just a huge pop too.
yeah, that place exploded, man." So I don't know, man. It looks like they might be trying to turn it a little bit where Becky is just gonna be ass kicker that's just like not really a heel, but just
Maybe it should be
Don't you
like an
mean a
anti-hero, like
last
Stone Cold Steve
kicker?
Austin or something.
say what, Didi?
Don't you mean a last kicker?
Yes, a last kicker. Yeah, yeah. So more of maybe like a Stone Cold kind of demeanor.
Because the way she said like "you B word," it was just like so much like she put so much into it. It wasn't just like, "Oh, you B word" or whatever. She was just like she really gave it to her.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see where it goes. I think it could probably be just as good as Sami Zayn when he turned heel. We never thought that wasn't the best idea when it happened, but once we actually got it, it was like, oh, don't ever go back. Keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully, he's getting well because he had two torn rotator cuffs. Ouch. So, anything else, Didi, you'd like to add?
No.
All right. So
I'm
that
good.
was SmackDown for this week. Just letting you know that the WrassleCast can also be found on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, and Google Play. So we'll move into a little Lucha Underground. Johnny Mundo and his crew prepare for the big wedding, and they have on some lovely lime green tuxedos. The Worldwide Underground, they have a surprise for Johnny Mundo. It's Joey Wrestling in the form of Joey Mercury.
I
Ricky
thought he
Moon.
looked familiar.
Yeah. Ricky Mundo has been reduced to the ring boy, and his air guitar has been taken away. Ricky and his creepy doll have a conversation. So then we move on to our first match, Jake Strong versus Drago. Jake Strong hits the Vader splash, and then the ankle lock follows, and that makes Drago tap. After the match, Jake Strong tries to keep furthering applying the ankle lock to Drago, and then Aerostar comes out and helps his friend and runs Jake Strong off. Next up, we have Exolicious versus Jack Evans in a no moss match. Jack lays Exolicious on the chair and threatens to snap Exolicious's neck.
He sure
Jack
did.
heads up top, but Joey Ryan arrives to make the save. Jack shoves Joey Ryan away as Ivelisse pulls Exolicious to the floor. Exolicious locks on an armbar and Jack quits. Post match, Ryan helps Exolicious to his feet and celebrates with Exolicious and Evilise.
I mean, I know it's a little different because Exolicious is a little,
Exotico.
flamboyant,
He's the
exotic, feminine, whatever you want to call it. His outfit is good though. Like the women from WWE should like copy that two piece because
and,
that's a mood right there. That outfit.
and Lucha Underground getting real liberal with the language because when they was asking Exolicious if he quit, his responses were "fuck no."
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, he said it twice.
Really?
Yes.
I did not hear that.
So
I didn't
Johnny,
think you could say fuck. I knew you could say shit.
yeah, me
I didn't know
either.
you. I didn't know you could say that word.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Mundo and his boys prepare for the wedding as Jack crawls backstage. Ricky wants to take his place in the wedding party, but they yell at him. Johnny calls PJ Black and Joy Mercury his best friends, angering Ricky Mundo, and the doll tells Ricky to do the job she told him to do. So Famous B, he's in his wheelchair and he's officiating the wedding because this is the part in the year where Melissa had her baby. So he's doing the ring announcing now as well. So Johnny, PJ Black, and Joey Mercury arrive to Mundo's music. Cheerleader Melissa and Brenda are the bridesmaids. So we see Ricky and his creepy doll free Matanza from his cage. The wedding is underway, and Famous B asks if anyone has any objections to the wedding of these fine ass people. Antonio Cueto arrives and says that he likes the couple and he has a gift for them, and he says to ring the bell. He has tacos for everyone willed out, and he congratulates the happy couple. Taya tells Johnny that she loves him more than fluffy puppies and decapitating creepy snake men, and together they can never lose. He'll always be the champion of her heart, and tonight they will put the slam in Slam Town. Johnny says that he never thought he'd ever meet someone as tan, ripped, and as cool as he is until he met her. He loves her more than his own reflection, and this is now the best day of his life, and he can't wait to buy a house in Slam Town and begin their life together. They agree to take each other in matrimony until death do them part. Ricky and the creepy doll arrive with the rings. Famous B makes fun of the doll and dismisses Ricky. Mundo then tells Ricky to leave and not to make this offer awkward. They take their vows and are pronounced, and then Matanza shows up on the scene and starts wrecking shop. He even slams Famous B while he was in his wheelchair. He then choke slams PJ Black through the taco table. Taya gets busted open as Johnny Mundo tries to fight off Matanza, but Matanza suplexes Mundo from the ring to the floor through another table full of tacos. Taya fires up and attacks Matanza, but he hits the Wrath of Gods on Taya as Ricky Mundo celebrates. Matanza then slams Taya onto her own wedding cake.
Mm, mm, mm.
And that was the end of Lucha Underground. Just couldn't have the wedding just go off without a hitch, huh?
Listen, nothing goes right at weddings anyway. I don't know that they were expecting a Matanza, but.
Yeah, that was a pretty extreme interruption, wasn't it?
It was like, oh, okay, so about this doll, who is she possessed by? Is this like Katrina in a doll? Who's in the doll?
I don't know. They haven't really done any backstory on the doll, but that may come with this, Ricky Mundo. Now that they're going to get into this story with Ricky Mundo wanting to wrestle Johnny, I guess it's going to be the next logical thing.
Wrestle him, skin him alive, something.
Yeah. Ricky Mundo has officially replaced Marty the Moth as the creepy bastard for this season.
Yeah, and he was always a little creepy, but once you add that doll in, it's just like, oh, Marty has nothing on you.
So that was this week's Lucha Underground. So it was a pretty fun show. It went by really fast. The wedding thing was really good though.
It did go by fast. I ended up watching it like once and a half because I ended up was cooking, but like it just goes so fast.
Yeah, it really did. And I actually like watched it with full commercials because I actually recorded it and then I was kind of playing Fortnite a little bit, kind of looking up from time to time since it was just a lot of talking and backstage stuff. And next thing you know, it's like, Damn, it's already 9:45. This thing about to go off.
Yeah, they move quick. It's something about them 1 hour show compared to like SmackDown, compared to Raw. It make it real clear that 3 hours is not what you need to be doing every week.
Yeah. Well,
Not
SmackDown is perfect. Right when you're ready for
SmackDown
it to go
is
off, it
perfect.
goes
It's
off.
off. The minute you get tired, the credits rolling. You're like, oh, well, all right.
Raw would be entertaining if they had enough heels to make it entertaining. They don't have enough
Yeah,
heels to make it entertaining. And that's the problem right now. It's like
yeah.
they don't have enough personalities that everybody when they come up there, it's like, oh, that was a good segment, or that was a good segment too. It's like, oh, the beginning is okay. There's maybe something in the middle, and then the end.
Yeah.
So, and it's about to get really front loaded or back loaded, depending on how you think, because football is about to start, and they're gonna have a football game this Monday, a college game when Raw's on, and then they're gonna have NFL football, Monday Night Football start back the next week after that. So yeah, it's really about to get crammed up. Everything is probably gonna be happening in the first like half hour. If you don't see the first half hour, you might not see anything good to the end.
Cool. I mean, that's all I watch. Is the first half hour.
All right. So this week's WrassleCast is being brought to you by Blue Apron. It's getting that time of the year. The weather's changing. Change up your meal plans. Go to Blue Apron through CSPN.us. Use our code and you'll get $30 off your first purchase of your first meal. Blue Apron's great because you can pick your packages, what you want. If you have a certain diet that you want to try to keep gluten-free, vegetarian, they've got all those choices there. You can pick your menu and then they send it to your house with everything that you need to prepare it. All you have to do is follow the instructions. 30 to 45 minutes later, you have fresh meal right there within your realm of whatever that you need to for all your dietary restrictions. Or if you have no restrictions, just be a glutton and eat everything, but do it through Blue Apron and CSPN.us. So our final review tonight is going to be NXT, as William Regal is officially starting an investigation into who attacked Aleister Black.
Did you say final? Because we have Impact as well.
Oh, well, I don't register Impact, but you can talk about it, sir. Johnny Gargano hobbles his way to the ring using a crutch. Gargano thanks the crowd for their reactions, but says that while they have always had his back, he broke a promise in Brooklyn and he made mistakes and he's failed. He tried to make things right for them all and doesn't know where he'll go from here and just doesn't know what to do anymore. Johnny says in Brooklyn, he became Tommaso Ciampa. He says that Ciampa is in his head and he can't get him out. He doesn't know what the fans want anymore. Johnny says he has to do better and wants to be better for Candice and for the fans. William Regal makes his way to the ring and asks if Johnny Gargano was the one that attacked Aleister Black. Regal needs to know before Black returns and burns NXT to the ground. Gargano says he doesn't really answer, but then he just says Regal knows him and to look into his eyes, and he'll see the answer there. Then the Velveteen Dream arrives, and he says that he's sick and disgusted hearing Johnny sing his sad song once again. Tonight's show should be about him, the man that stole the show at Brooklyn. It should be all about the Velveteen Dream. He says this is not about Johnny failure, and Gargano says that he's good to go, and then Regal breaks them up. Regal sends Dream to his office and says that Johnny Gargano will face off with the Velveteen Dream next week. Now, Velveteen Dream was a fantastic outfit. He had on like a pair of jeans, some type of like purple looking scarf type of things that he was using as like suspenders. And then he had like no shirt with some white crocodile loafers.
It sounds awful, but I'm sure it was amazing.
Yes, it's the Velveteen Dream can pull off anything. Dakota Kai faced off versus Aaliyah. Dakota Kai hits the code red into the double knees combo, and she gets the win. Next up, Regal finishes with the Velveteen Dream in his office, and then he meets with the Forgotten Sons. He questions them about the attack on Aleister Black. They take the time to deny the attack, and then they ask for an opportunity. Regal dismisses them and then says they'll get an opportunity next week. Backstage, we see Lars Sullivan leaving the scene, and EC3 is laid out. Regal tries to talk with Nikki Cross, but she just laughs and spins in her chair and says she knows who did it. Bianca Belair arrives and says she wants to match because she's healthy and wants a title opportunity. She was pissed. She was like, "Man, you got me out here standing in the hallway for this?" Because Nikki was spinning in the chair, just laughing, being crazy. And she was like, "I want an opportunity." She was like, "Nikki," and Nikki was like trying to like mess with her, like play with her hair. And she was like, she had this shirt on that says, "You cannot touch my hair."
Mm.
So Nikki's trying to play with her hair, and then she tells her that you cannot touch my hair, snatches her braid away. It's pretty good. Um, Mendoza, who is supposed to face Raul Mendoza, who is supposed to face EC3, makes his way out to the ring, and Lars Sullivan arrives, and he admits to taking out EC3. He says that when he leaves people laying in parking lots or in hallways, he comes out and lets everybody knows that he did it. So Lars hits the ring. He starts destroying Mendoza with ease. He mauls him with strikes. Then he hits a pop-up power slam and the freak accident, and Lars Sullivan, in his return, gets the win. Tommaso Ciampa cuts a great backstage promo, noting that he promised to come back dangerous, and he's exceeded all expectations. He ended Johnny Gargano, and he won the NXT title in the process, becoming the greatest sports entertainer of all time. He clawed to the top of the mountain, and that this is his home now. NXT is his home, and this is just the beginning. No one will survive what's coming next. Next up, we bask in the glory of Keith Lee versus Luke Menzies. Keith Lee fights. Keith Lee hits the pounce, and then he hits the corner splash, and some chops follow that. Keith Lee hits the spirit bomb, and he gets the win. The Undisputed Era are in the main event, and then as the match, right before the match starts, Adam Cole says that he wants to take Kyle O'Reilly's spot because he wants to get him a piece of Ricochet. So we have the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, baby, and Roderick Strong versus Ricochet and Pete
You
Dunne.
you mean Adam Hickenbottom?
Pete Dunne hits a moonsault to the floor onto the Undisputed Era, and Ricochet accidentally takes out Pete Dunne with a suicide dive. Back in the ring, Adam Cole hits the last shot, and he pins Ricochet. After the match, the Undisputed Era is laying out Ricochet and Pete Dunne, and they're standing tall until the War Raiders arrive, and the Undisputed Era chase them, run off to the back. So still putting a little bit of seeds in there between Ricochet and Pete Dunne, because Pete Dunne was like, "Nah, I ain't really your friend. I just don't like the Undisputed Era," and that's basically how they lost the match, was because Ricochet took out Pete Dunne with that suicide dive, and then they're also furthering the War Raiders are coming after the tag team titles as they came down there to make the save at the end. So good stuff, good stuff. It would be cool if we get a triple threat between Adam Cole, baby, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne, with both the North American and the UK title up for grabs. That'd be kind of cool match. So that was NXT, and Sam has a little blurb about Impact that he wants to let everybody in on. Sam,
Um,
Impact?
I thought he left.
No, he did. I didn't see it in the chat, so
I heard a noise.
I didn't hear it. Okay, well, I thought
Yeah,
he was going
it's
to talk
just you
about
and
Impact.
me.
Okay, all right. Well, that's it then. If there's no Sam at the end, I was going to talk about Impact. I was going to give him time.
Let me see if I can find something real quick.
Yeah, because I didn't
Since
watch
he
it.
cared, since he likes it so much. I forgot to watch it. I meant to. I don't know why I don't remember these things.
I just know that Tessa
Um,
Blanchard won the title a couple of weeks ago,
there
so
was
she's the champion now.
Yeah, there was Phoenix versus Brian Cage for the X Division Championship. The crowd had a fight forever chant. Who do you think they are, Kevin and Sammy? Bye. Last. Brian Cage won with a top rope power bomb. And then after the match, OVE, which is Ohio
Over
versus
everyone.
everybody,
Yeah.
rushed the ring and beat down the Lucha Brothers. So that's what had happened. The crowd chanted, "We want Jericho." Who doesn't? Tessa Blanchard cut a promo backstage about pressure in her family's pro wrestling history. Eli Drake came to the ring and brought out the two enhancement talents from last week. Nobody cares about them. But there's a match versus him and Brandon Tidwell. He took a gravy train for the loss, so Eli Drake won that. Next was Sue Young, who's the dead corpse bride, versus Ali versus Tessa Blanchard for the Knockouts Championship match. The things that are happening, so many things. Oh my God. This is what Don was talking about. Tessa won with a roll up holding the tights of Ali. So
Oh
a
yeah.
shady win, but a win is a win.
Oh yeah. We always love a good heel tactic, don't we?
Yeah. Gamma Singh hunted down the Desi Hit Squad. Come on, Ethnics. Killer Cross and Austin Aries cut a promo backstage about their upcoming match against Eddie Edwards and Moose. LAX was still a thing and was backstage, and they're happy about shutting down the OGs and getting their titles back, but they were still upset about Little Richie. Next is the Smoke Show. What? Things. Next was Petey Williams versus Rich the Homie. Rich Swan. He won. He won with a standing shooting star press for a very quick win. Next was Austin Aries and Killer Cross versus Eddie Edwards. And these are some real involved notes that I found.
No, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to like scroll through to find it.
See, don't you appreciate me just chopping all that down every week
Like,
for you?
yeah. Oh, suddenly Moose comes to the ring with his head bandaged up, and he goes into the corner of his friend, whoever that is. Killer Cross jumped off the apron, but he didn't because he didn't want to tag after Moose entered the match. Suddenly, Moose let go of Austin Aries and he spears Eddie Edwards. This is a swerve on Eddie and a heel turn for Moose. Now, Austin looks like the leader of a new heel stable, and the crowd chants "You sold out." The heels ended the night looking happy as not the Pillmanized Eddie Edwards neck with a chair shot while he laid against the ring post. Yes, violence. Alicia Edwards came out and slapped Moose, and he backed her up before the heels closed together while Alicia took care of her battered husband. And that is a very short recap of Impact since I didn't see it.
The
But
thing
Sam
about
wanted you to know about it.
that is kind of cool is they don't script their promos, so their promos are really good, and they have violence and blood. So you know,
I do like violence.
yeah. So I mean, if you can find Pop TV or remember to turn to it every week, you may find two or three things in there that are really really good.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dee Dee, for that
Oh,
impromptu
you're
impact
very
report.
welcome. You're so welcome.
Yeah. So like I said, I don't know how we'll, incorporate that weekly, but if it's something of interest, we'll try to at least mention it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll turn it over to you, ma'am, for your thank yous and shout outs.
Oh, shout out to Greg. Shout out to Sam. Shout out to Chairman because he still gets shout outs. Shout out to Nova Pro Wrestling. Is that who they are?
They are.
Be- because I have been told by said chairman that their big anniversary show is next month. And so, if you want to go to that and you're in the DMV area, you can do that. It's on the September 21st at the Jewish Community Center of Northern Virginia. But anyway, so shout out to them. If I make it, if I don't, who knows? My life is all up in the air. Shout out to Mel because Mel still always gets shout outs. Shout out to her daughter because it's her senior year. So Mel don't really got no more babies. All Mel's babies is grown. Tear. Shout out to uh my friends. Shout out to shout out to Trader Joe's. They got the bomb vanilla ice cream.
Really?
Yes. Oh my God, it's so good. And then like just cream, ooh, just creamy. Mm. And then shout out to my ladies aglow. Shout out to Elias. Even though he was real disrespectful about what he said about Trish, I still want to walk with him.
Yeah, he did. He referenced her as being 60.
He called her 60. I was like, you are well within your rights to slap him, man. Yes, you are. That is the correct answer.
So I was looking at some YouTube stuff, and I was maybe thinking about putting Trisha's song as the beginning, but it has too many words. It'll
Oh.
be over top of Bret Hart's talking. But
Hmm.
I was like, which Trish did you like better, the one with the brown hair or the blonde hair?
I like blonde hair Trish,
Okay,
but I like that she's still gorgeous. Cause sometimes people change, and you're like, why'd you do that?
you're
Like,
right.
why'd you change your hair color? Who said that was cute on you? But she still looks good with brown hair.
Hmm.
So
So
blonde hair Trish will always be my favorite.
yeah, yeah. When Alexa was like, and we also got somebody in the back with a whole bunch of history with you. I thought Lita was about to come out. And then Mickey James did. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense too. Forgot about Mickey James.
I
Wasn't
remember
it?
when she was like stalking her. I remember
Right,
that.
right.
Hmm.
And they had the match in the WrestleMania. But yeah, so I always connect Lita with Trish. I never it always takes me a second to register that, oh yeah, Mickey James and Trish had a really good rivalry as well. So
Yeah.
all right. I'd like to thank Miss Didi Jonay. I'd like to thank Sam. And I'd like to thank Greg for joining me for our 200th episode. All of the listeners and all the guests of the previous 200, 199 episodes. Thank you guys for all that you've done to make this an awesome community. Follow the hashtags, supporting all the live tweets and, retweets and just building the community up to what it's become. So I definitely appreciate everybody who's listened to one show or all 200. And like to give a shout out to all the podcasters here on the CSPN each and every week, all the people who put in the time, put in the work, put in the effort. And we also have, exclusive content now. So please go over to patreon.com/CSPN media and check out the extra offerings that we have. Become a CSPN backstage member for just $3 a month, and you'll gain access to all the exclusive content. You'll gain access to the dark match, which is basically a bunch of conversations put together that we have before we record this podcast. You'll get to hear what the Bad and Boozy girls talk about before their podcast. You'll get extra draggings and pop culture talk from the Ratchet Ramblings crew. So there's lots to offer over on CSPN Media Patreon site. Also, give a shout out to Newsy Floozies, Dainty Thug, and Mama Meets World, as there are new additions to the CSPN network. So follow them, listen to them, interact with them on social media. Some really cool content that we've brought over to the podcasting network with those three new shows. So I think that's it for my shout outs this week. Just again, thank you again to everybody who's listened to the podcast, episode 200. We're coming up on our 4-year anniversary in October. So, we just continue to keep grinding and bringing you this great content as we talk about wrestling each and every week here on the WrassleCast. So for Didi Jonay, Samuel Kalunga, and Magnum Prime, I'm Don De Laurente, and this has been episode 200 of the WrassleCast. Please stay tuned for the parting promo. That was 50 something minutes, Didi.
We did
These
good.
are really good. Like, it's not even 11:30 yet.
Hey, that's early. I like it early.